Hey, hey, and welcome back to Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. What do you get when you combine Irish grit, frontier gold rushes, and a woman who could guilt a gambler out of his last dollar for a good cause? Well, you get a legend. Today, we're talking about a woman who snowshoed into a blizzard when the army said don't, opened churches in saloons, protected graves from medical students, and somehow managed to run restaurants in just about every rough and tumble town west of the Mississippi. And if you've never heard of her, don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll understand why they called her the Angel of the Cassiar, the Angel of Tombstone, and the Angel of the Yukon. Nellie Cashman was born Ellen Cashman in the mid-1840s in County Cork, Ireland, to Francis and Patrick O'Cassain, a name later anglicised to Cashman.
County Cork, a fine place to start a legend if I do say so myself.
When Nellie's younger sister, Mary Frances, known as Fanny, was still a baby, their father died, likely as a result of the Great Potato Famine. In the early 1850s, the family immigrated to the United States, settling first in Boston, then moving to Washington, D.C. As a teenager, Nellie worked as a bellhop and elevator operator in a D.C. hotel, where she allegedly met none other than Ulysses S. Grant, who encouraged her to head west.
Imagine that. Go west, young woman. And she did. Don't mind if I do.
By the mid-1860s, the Cashmans were in San Francisco. In 1870, Nellie and her mother moved to Virginia City, Nevada, where she worked as a camp cook. Then to Pioche, Nevada, managing the miners' boarding house. It was in Pioche that Ellen became Nellie, and someone would later describe her as pretty as a Victorian cameo and, when necessary, tougher than two-penny nails.
That's Irish for don't test her.
In 1874, Nellie joined prospectors heading to British Columbia, settling in Cassiar County. At Telegraph Creek, she opened a boarding house for miners. She never turned anyone away, but she did suggest donations to the Sisters of St. Anne.
Oh, she was smooth about it. You've coin for supper, do ya? Then perhaps a little something for the sisters.
One day, while traveling to Victoria to deliver $500 she'd raised for the sisters, Nellie heard about a snowstorm in the Cassiar Mountains. 26 miners were stranded, suffering from scurvy. The Canadian Army had advised against a rescue, but Nellie ignored them. She organized a 6-man search party, gathered 1,500 pounds of food and medicine, and snowshoed into the mountains. For 77 days.
67!
67!
That's not a rescue mission, that's pure Irish stubbornness powered by tea and faith.
Accounts say there weren't just 26 men. Some say as many as 75 were sick. Nellie administered vitamin C-rich foods, nursed them back to health, and reopened her boarding house. After that, she was known as the Angel of the Cassiar. By 1876, when the mining slowed, she delivered another $543 to the sisters, helping fund St. Joseph's Hospital in Victoria. Then she returned to San Francisco. But Nellie Cashman was not meant to stay still. In 1879, Nellie arrived in Tucson, Arizona, opening the Delmonico restaurant. There, she befriended newspaperman John Clum, who told her about the opportunity in a little mining town about 75 miles southeast. In 1880, she moved to Tombstone, Arizona, and opened the Nevada Boot and Shoe Store. Like in British Columbia, she raised money, this time to build the Sacred Heart Catholic Church, which opened in 1881. But before the church was built, she allegedly convinced the owners of the Crystal Palace Saloon to host Sunday services.
A church and a saloon! Now that's efficiency.
Around this time, Nellie and a partner named Joseph Pacioli purchased and operated a restaurant and boarding house in Tombstone known as the Russ House. Now, for those of you who know Tombstone history, the Russ House wasn't just another boarding house. It became one of the most respected establishments in town, a place where miners, businessmen, and travelers could expect good food, fair treatment, and something that was sometimes in short supply in boomtowns: decency.
And let's be honest, if you could run a respectable boarding house in Tombstone of all places, you could run one anywhere.
The Russ House became both Nellie's business anchor and her charitable headquarters. It was from there that she organized fundraising efforts, supported the miners' hospital, and kept a watchful eye on anyone in town who might be struggling. And yes, this is where that famous cooking legend likely took place.
Ah, yes, the poor soul who dared criticize her cooking.
According to one popular story, when a customer complained about Nellie's meal, Doc Holliday happened to be present. When Holliday drew his sidearm and asked the man to repeat what he'd said, the embarrassed customer quickly changed his tune.
Yes, and all of a sudden it was the finest meal I've ever had, ma'am, wasn't it? Remarkable how a drawn revolver improves a man's appreciation for good cooking.
She became treasurer of the Miners' Hospital Association, brought Sisters of Mercy to care for the sick, and raised funds for the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, and struggling miners. Legend says she would wait at a saloon until someone won big at gambling, then gently remind them that if they had money to gamble, they had money to donate. But Nellie's life wasn't just business and charity. In 1881, her sister Fanny was widowed and moved to Tombstone with 5 children. Fanny died a few years later, likely of consumption. Nellie raised her nieces and nephews, ensuring they received quality education at boarding schools. Then came the Bisbee Massacre of 1883.
Don't you have a video about the Bisbee Massacre, Miss Kitty? I'll make sure she links it below for your viewing pleasure.
While the condemned men awaited execution, Nellie visited them in jail. When someone built bleachers to sell tickets to the hanging, she asked the sheriff to remove them. He refused. Moved by her appeal, miners tore them down the night before. The hanging still occurred, but without an audience. And when a medical school planned to exhume the bodies, Nellie organized men to guard Boot Hill Cemetery for 10 days.
Even the condemned deserve dignity.
She was called the Angel of Mercy, the Angel of Tombstone, and she earned it. By 1898, with her nieces and nephews grown, Nellie headed north to the Yukon during the Klondike Gold Rush. She arrived in Dawson City in April. To fund her mining venture, she opened a restaurant and grocery store, one of only 2 female proprietors in Dawson in 1901. Her prospecting took her to the Klondike, Fairbanks, and Nolan Creek. In the spring of 1924, she contracted double pneumonia in Fairbanks. She made one final request: to be sent to St. Joseph's Hospital in Victoria, the same hospital she had helped fund nearly 50 years earlier. She died there on January 4th, 1925, and was buried at Ross Bay Cemetery. News of her death spread across the West. The angel of so many was gone. Her legacy lives on. She has been inducted into halls of fame, honored with awards, featured in films and television, and even appeared on a U.S. postage stamp. A monument stands near her home in County Cork, Ireland.
From Cork to the Klondike, not bad for a girl who just kept saying, "There's work to be done."
Nellie Cashman never struck it rich in gold, but she struck something far more lasting. She built churches and saloons. She turned gambling winnings into hospital beds. She snowshoed into blizzards. She protected graves. She raised children who weren't her own. And when the end came, she returned to the place she had helped build. That is a frontier legacy.
Ah, now, That's what it means to live a life worth remembering.
If you enjoyed this story of grit, generosity,
And a little Irish fire,
be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who needs a reminder that one determined person can change a whole frontier. And in the meantime, we'll catch you on down the trail.